Right, this is one of the two big prequel build-ups to the very final session to finish off Season 1, the end of Dragon Age RPG. Now, I'm here with Laurie, and a lot of this is going to be new to him because he wasn't present when all of this happened. This is what they did on the last 2 days before the ball. This follows directly on from the last vidcast.
Oh, so this is the Carac Tanadil stuff?
It is. It's the Carac Tanadil, what they did. On the day, on the lead-up, they sort of wasted time, went to the bar and
Got pissed?
drank and ate and really didn't get a lot accomplished. They went around the house and news had just come in that morning that Marissa, their contact, had just been pulled out of the river, dead. And they found out information about how she was bludgeoned. And it wasn't very nice. Yet she moves as a spy. You know, she moves secretly. So who could have done this to her? And they were looking it out. They'd also gone to the crime scene. And, eventually. And asked a lot of very interesting questions. In the name of House Bounty as well. To a lot of the city guard people that are there.
Mm-hmm.
And they were allowed in a bit, somewhat, on some of the information of the investigation. They still couldn't work out who it was, but they determined that it must have been someone that knew her, because she wouldn't normally let anyone get close, but no one would be able to normally get close to her, so they worked out, it must be a rogue. Now at this point, and based off of previous distrust, as in trying to steal from them and such, they really don't like Phelan. And they thought, do you know what? I reckon it's Phelan. It fits. He fits the bill. And of course, why would Phelan kill Marissa, though? I mean, she's just revealed all of the information to the party. And that very night, she ends up dead. I mean, someone who works for House Bounty, maybe, trying to take matters into their own hands and killing the person that they thought was acting treasonous? I suppose Phelan would fit the bill.
Oh, he would, wouldn't he?
So they did a bit of investigating, and they went around their shared house. They went into Phelan's room and checked his cupboards and wardrobes and under his bed and checked everything. They saw that his bed really hadn't really been properly slept in, and his room isn't used that much. They checked for secret compartments and traps and anything hidden, and they checked their own rooms, and they found a footprint in their room that seemed to match Phelan's, and they noticed in Phelan's room the windows open somewhat, so that he often leaves out through the window and not through the door. His is the only window that can jump out onto a roof.
You know he's a dwarf, he can't really jump that far.
It worked out that the person that got away wasn't seen getting away, so they must have scampered up a pipe and up onto the rooftops and gone to the rooftops. They also noticed that the jump, while he wouldn't normally be able to do it as a dwarf, there was actually a marks in the wood, like a try of marks like that, carved into the wood, that looked a bit like a grapple had been repetitively placed against it and repelled out. Or swung to.
Yeah.
So that he's coming and going as he pleases. And they said, we don't like this. So they've been sneaking around his room, looking at his possessions. And they were so paranoid about him, they went as far as to pay the groundskeeper off a bit of money, right, so that he would come in and change some of Pete's furniture round for some of theirs, in case something in the furniture was able to be sneaky in some way, either record something or have some hidden element to it, or have some secret hidden nastiness in there. They were getting super paranoid and chasing red herrings and just going around in circles. It was pretty bad. Then they decided, do you know what? We'll go round and we'll see Lady Bounty. in the later part of the day. Now, that's not to explain what happened at House Branty earlier in the day, because this is later in the day. But earlier in the day, something different was happening that we'll have to wait for a different perspective for. But we shall continue on and say that they did indeed go to House Branty. The butler person let them in. Now, here's the thing. They wanted access to the house. They wanted to sneak around. They wanted to get in and look about unannounced. And they suggested to the house servant that he doesn't reveal their presence. They said, no, it doesn't matter. They offered him money. They threatened him with violence. They attempted to coerce him in various different ways. They maintained the violence. Especially Tanadil.
Of course he would. He's a freaking barbarian.
In fact, he very nearly almost punched his lights out there and then.
Why didn't he? Because he's not an idiot.
Anyway, the servant kept insisting, I do have to let the lady know that you were here. I can't let you walk around her house. You can't just do that. Well, they'd heard of some of the rumours of a secret office under her office.
An office within an office.
That Marissa had let on, even though Marissa had never been to it. She's only heard about it.
That's right, but everybody's heard of it. Anybody who works for her has probably heard of it.
Yeah. But they didn't get an opportunity to go a sneaking and go a checking and doing any of these things, because then a voice came out from the top of the stairs.
As you do.
It was Lady Branty. And
I'm not surprised.
She invited them upstairs and told her house servant to, get going. Now, this was her lounge type room, so it's got a fire in there and drinks, decanters, and those things. And she brought them in and let them sit down and offered them a drink, and they declined, which is always a bad sign straight away.
They know it was poisoned?
Who knows? They also got suspicious about the fact that Lady Branty had her fire on, even though it's now spring. And she seems to always have her fire on.
Well, she's an old woman. I generally find old people feel the cold even during the springtime. And summertime for some reason. In rarer cases, but still. Plus, this is for Eldon. In spring, it's still blimmin' cold.
Yeah.
With all that rain they get.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, they are concerned that it's some sort of secret doorway to something. Or they were really in that mood. Really in that super paranoid mood. So, anyway.
Oh dear.
But, there has been a lot of treachery and stuff happening, and then a murder, and it's just all been going on, hasn't it? Right, so...
Indeed.
They tried speaking with her and asking her questions, leading round to sort of like trying to trick her, and there's one thing you will learn when you're dealing with Nicola Baranti, and that is you can never trick her.
She's too sharp.
She's always ahead of you. Always. And when they were trying, she pretty much just turned things straight round and said, oh, by the way, I heard of your little religious excavation to Andraste. Was that an enjoyable visit? And so on and so forth.
Yeah.
What reason did you possibly have for going there? And so on.
Of course, she already knows why we went there.
She knows everything.
And it's not just because she's controlled by the GM.
She even then says to Carac and Tanadil, well, look, I know that you know. So let's stop this pretense and talk about what we're going to do with this. You've been very loyal servants to us so far. to the house so far, and they said, yeah, well, it looks like we're going to have to leave your employ from here. And she tried explaining, well, it's for the greater good. The necessary evils that are committed. I have information on you as well, you know. I'm safeguarding this as well to keep you out of harm's way, and Amelia likewise, for example. You know, she's relying on me for a letter of recommendation to the Templars. I thought we were all going to maintain our friendship. And they said, yes, well, we're not necessarily going to try and bring you down, but I don't believe we're going to be able to work for you anymore either. That was their opinion. And she's always in control. She's always leading. There was no point she was on the back foot and
The problem is the way things are going. I wouldn't be surprised if she was going to try and groom one of the group to fill her shoes at some point. I wouldn't have been surprised, to be honest.
Well,
if she did.
Maybe. Because certainly her grandson's not much crop.
So, considering what he was like when we first met him.
Mm-hmm. So,
different woman on his arm every night.
Yes. Yes. Except engagement coming up. But anyway. Save that for the ball. Next vidcast.
Yeah.
So, anyway. She said, oh, you don't want to do that. No, didn't I hire you to try and stop Damus Arkan? And they said, yeah, why is that our concern now? She said, because you went after Zort and Throg. And now they're
trying to kill us.
Hitmen trying to kill you. If you decline my backing and my financial support, you'll lose the means to hunt down those that are hunting you. She pointed out, for instance, my money's going to fund your trip abroad to stop the wicked wizard in his tracks.
Wizards at this rate.
Well, they've located
and blood mages
Zortan's position, and he's in Rivain. And they didn't seem to care. They said, "Oh well, you know, we'll just kill them off." She said, "Well, that's fine, but you'd be piecemeal. They'd get Amelia, they'd get you two separate. They'd get Phelan,
and then they'd get me."
What, the player?
No, her.
Yes, well, there you go. So, they are trying to say, well, look, it's not our problem. And they were either being really, really blind or trying to bluff her. Second rule with Nicola Branti.
Never try to bluff her.
You can't bluff Nicola Branti. She's already triple and redoubled her bluff and reverse on you so many times that by the time she makes her play...
She's double-crossed the double-crossers. And she's probably double-crossing someone else.
Yeah. Just to ensure that everyone's going to get screwed. To make sure that everyone's going to end up loyal.
Yeah.
Because they'll all owe her something. And she'll have something on all of them. It's the Kingpin.
Yep, where's Spidey when we need him?
Again, it says it's the ultimate villain for you guys. It's an awkward...
Yeah, the one you can't fight.
So... well, I mean, you can.
And what good would it do us?
Maybe not a great deal.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, well, you'd change the state of the city.
And screw ourselves over in the long run.
Permanently. Well, it would be taken into account the fact that the city has destabilised.
Yeah.
And a lot of Ferelden is destabilised, which means the coming war with the Darkspawn might have some issues.
Yep.
But how much evil are you going to let in through the gate? If you're heroes. So, that issue might be tested even more. So, in the end, it was decided, all right, fine. Fine, we'll carry on fine with you. All right? I think she talked them into it. But she wasn't completely sure if they were messing with her or not. So, she didn't fully trust them. And she said, right, well, I'm going to tell you my plan. Somewhat.
Well, here's the thing.
She's that confident that she will do that. Even though she doesn't trust them.
Well, that's the thing. Amelia doesn't completely trust them, to be honest.
Well, yeah. And she said, okay, I'm going to... At the ball, someone's going to be killed. You know that much already, anyway. And all I want you to make sure you do is stay out of the way. And they said, oh no, well, maybe we can help you do it. Tell us more about it.
Yeah, that's the key word to try and... Oh, we want to coax more information out of you so we can stop it.
It's like, do you think...
Third rule, do not try to coax information from Nicola Baranti.
Pretty much. Them even doing this, they've dug themselves in worse than they would have been with her. Because she's got them on a line. And any time she wants, she'll just yank it.
Like fishing.
Yeah.
It's all about patience.
She's plenty patient.
Yeah.
She's a wicked huntress. Right, so...
Yeah.
Anyway.
No amount of titles are going to save Tanadil from this one.
No. She wouldn't say that. She said, well, it's, it's a need-to-know basis. Why would you need to know? I've got operatives in place ready to deal with this. It's fine. I won't burden you with the knowledge. I need you to be acting natural. I can't risk you seeming to... trying to not look in a certain direction.
Yeah, she didn't even tell them what was going to be happening, other than the fact that someone's going to die.
So, yeah, she kind of pointed that out and said, all I want you to do is stay on the ground floor, where where the ballroom is and such, the parlour. Don't go upstairs, and it will be fine. So she left them with that, and they said, all right, we won't go upstairs. We'll give you our word. And so that was that. They left her company. And the butler gave the Tanadil some pretty evil glares.
As you do.
They also asked her who her lead spy was. Who he actually is in person.
The spy master.
The spy master.
Not the apprentice, which was meant to be Marissa.
But the main one.
I probably guess he'd be out the country.
They came to...
Or at least.
They came to the conclusion that it might be the butler.
It makes sense. It would make sense.
So, anyway, off they went. Tittle-too walking away and drank the night away until the ball came. And then
Tanadil went to the ball in his full armour.
Yes, because
and sword.
He wasn't going to wear no suit.
And he was carrying his sword.
And he said it was for religious purposes.
Yes, it's Avvarian ceremonial garb.
Or at least that's what he'd tell him. So
They're going to argue, because they don't know Avvarian law customs, do they?
No, and Carac's wearing a dress already, so he's alright.
And Amelia went in a full ball gown.
But anyway, that...
And Phelan, he went in a tux as well.
He went in the... Yeah. That's into the realms of next vidcast, where the ball begins. So, we'll drop it there. Now, if you want to find out what happened on the other side of the coin, earlier in the day, and so forth, coming soon. Look out for that video, but we'll leave it there. And I'll see you at the next one. Bye-bye-bye-bye.